So many steps, so many things to do to get ready. Welcome, everyone. It is the UpViral Co-Pilot Show. Keith says, yes. Jeff says, yes. This is Valentine's Day, Tuesday, January 18th. We are a month ahead of Valentine's Day, actually. And what we're going to do today is we're going to build a campaign, as Jeff and Keith have said. We are going to build a campaign in 30 minutes or less. That's right, we are. Now, this is kind of sort of a repeat show from a year and a half ago. One of the very first co-pilot shows that we ever did was that I built a campaign in 30 minutes or less, and I made it. But what I wanted to do was to feature all of the new features. Feature the features in UpViral since the last time I did that. Last week, I asked for suggestions, and a couple of people suggested, A, we do a Valentine's campaign, and B, we do something for jewelry. So what I'm going to do, I've done a little bit of planning. Those of you who've been on the show before, you know that's one of my favorite topics, right? Planning. You can't build a campaign in 30 minutes unless you've planned in advance. But just between you and me, shh, don't tell anybody. I only spent about 30 minutes planning this morning. I was running a bit late. So it may not be 100% of the way I would build it, but that's the joy of building a campaign. You get to build it on the fly as well. Janine's here. She says, woohoo. Keith said, no pressure. Christine, giving love from the heart template. There you go. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a campaign. I got a timer on the other screen. We'll show that when I start showing my screen. And we are going to build a campaign from scratch. You know, I also mentioned that some of the tools advertise you can build a campaign in 5 minutes. I could possibly build it in 5 minutes, but I think it's really going to take longer than that. But I'm also, by the way, give me a little bit of grief, grace, same thing, right? Because I'm trying to do some demos while we do it. When I did this show a year and a half ago, I literally built everything from scratch. Guess what? One of the very first features that we're going to talk about is the fact that UpViral will now let you create a campaign from one of their templates. All right, let's see. There are 9 templates. Let's see. Who was brand new? Who's brand new? Who was that? I'm scrolling back. Diana, give me a number. Mike Moffat says, I'm new. I swear I've seen you before, Mike, but welcome. Diane, please give me a number between 1 and 9. Let's see, I can't do 9. A number between 1 and 9. 7. All right. I'm going to tell you why I've asked you to pick that in just a minute. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Hi, Claudia. Welcome. Claudia says, should you pick a number? No, that was just for Diane. She's a first timer, so bless you. Glenn says, hello. Hi, Glenn. Welcome. Glad to see you here. So anybody questions before I get started? Can you tell I'm hyped? I don't know. That's my new thing. All right. No questions are popping in. All right, let's do it. Now, I do have a timer. I'm going to show you the timer when I start. But the very first thing that I want to show you, and I just realized that I didn't switch my camera. I don't know if I'm going to need this, but I'll switch it if I need it. That's what I'll do. All right. I'm going to move the chat out of the way. I'm going to try to hide some stuff here. All right. Nobody's ready. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's nervous. All right. I'm now sharing my screen. Welcome to the power of Zoom. Creating a campaign in 30 minutes with new UpViral features. You guys should see what I use to do all of my, a lot of my work. I don't say all of my work. I use a tool called Workflowy. And Workflowy is a really great outlining tool. So this is the outline for the show. You guys see this, right? I'm gonna turn on my mousey thing that is also not for some reason showing. Steve says, you didn't mention connecting to Facebook, just checking. Actually, yes, I did actually connect to FB before I started. Let me make sure. There it is. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Claudia. And Zoom is running. Great. All right. So now I'll have that on that screen so I can watch. And I don't need this. All right, let's go back to create a campaign in 30 minutes. So we talked about the topic is going to be jewelry and Valentine's Day. What I always advise you to do, there's Glenn, because Glenn, wasn't it you that said you wanted jewelry and Valentine's Day? Wasn't that you last week? Planning the campaign is the most important part. Now, I just said a few minutes ago that I didn't do the greatest job of planning. If I were doing this for a client, we would have spent a lot more time on planning, but we're going to create it anyway. Now, down here, I have the features demo of the things that we're going to cover in today's demo when I get started. But what I have done is I have briefly planned the campaign. So guess what I did? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly pause the screen. You guys won't see this because I should have made sure that I had the right screen before. I don't want to show you the wrong screen. Where's my screen? Dadgummit. Was I somewhere else? I just had it. I didn't do it here. I didn't do it there. Where's my screen? I just had it. I know I had it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Fresh start, GoDaddy. I'm apologizing. All right, why is this not open? I must have accidentally changed something. All right, so I'm going to open this. I apologize. I had all these open. This one and I think it was this one. All right. Now, what I did was I did a Google search. And one of the things, so, all right, let me back up just a second, right? So we decided we were going to do a jewelry campaign. That's not my business. So what I decided to do was to see what other people are doing. Oh my gosh, what a concept. So what I did was I went to Google and I did a Google search on jewelry contest. Now, interestingly enough, Fire Mountain Gems came up, one of the first entries. Look at this. There is a screen that this young lady has. I'm assuming that's her. No, that's the winner. So I don't know who this is, and I don't know anything about this, but notice they are doing contests on a regular basis. Something you should be doing. I preach about this all the time, but I found all of these winners. And I'm like, holy cow, she's got a winners page with a whole bunch of winners. So if you click on one, then you see who won the campaign, what the prize was, etc. There's all of this kind of stuff. So number one, this is a gold mine in a mountain, a fire mountain. This is a gold mine to find ideas, right? If somebody else has already done the work, let's go see what we can learn from them. Now, just for fun, Jeff says it's also a potential customer to sell UpViral contests to. I'm just going to grab this text for fun. I don't know if I need it, but I'm just going to grab it. Now, I have a tool called Paste. If you guys haven't seen me use this before, I'm going to hit Command-Shift-B on my Mac, and you're going to see all of these previous things that I have copied. It's a clipboard manager, so I can copy something from one place and it's in my clipboard and I can get back to it later. I'm probably going to use a couple of those things. But the other thing that I did was that I also came up with Shane Co. And I needed some images and stuff. So I went to gifts under $200 and I just grabbed a couple of these images like this one. Okay, this one, I open this up. I'm like, okay, that looks like a perfect Valentine's kind of gift, right? Kind of an idea. And so I grabbed a couple of images and a couple of titles from here. Yeah, I don't need that tab. This tab was fine. Okay, you guys with me? So I did some research, especially since this isn't my particular niche. So I grabbed the double vision ear climber. Never knew what those things were called because I'm a guy. And the East-West heart necklace. So I grabbed those. Now, while I was thinking about it, I said, what if I did something like this? What if the winner invites more than 10 people? Then let's upscale the prize to a dinner. So I'm gonna add this little bit of flavor to my contest. I'm also going to use the 3 prize triangle that you guys are all familiar with, I hope. Diane probably isn't, so I'll go through that really quickly. And then I'm also doing this as a local campaign. So I really want the prize winners to come in and pick them up, right? I want them to come into the store. Maybe then when they pick them up, I can get those photos and I can get maybe a testimonial from them when they come in. If you're doing a local business, it doesn't hurt to make them come pick it up. Also, that way it saves you shipping, but it also makes sure that you get that prize in front of people and you don't have to ship it. You don't have to worry about it, especially with something like Valentine's Day, because we're going to have to pick a date that's going to be before February 14th. That's Valentine's Day, right? All right. And I also decided I'm going to give some coupons for 10% off and 20% off if they invite people. So why, somebody tell me in the chat, why did I pick this one? If the winner invites more than 10 people, we'll upsize the prize package. Why did I do that? Anybody? Why am I planning to do that? Come on, really quickly. Why do I do the 3 prize triangle? Anybody? Are y'all there? All right, good. Christine says to keep them sharing. Yes. Number 2, to make it attractive, Claudia says. Yes. Larry says to up the incentive value. Yes, that's another one. Kiki says everyone can win. No, actually yeah, but Mark says to motivate people to invite more than 10. He says you need the continuity of the offer. Kiki smiles. The idea here, going back to the 3-prize triangle, the number one objection that people have to sharing, suddenly I'm whistling, to sharing is that they don't want to be, they want to be the only person in the prize pool. They don't want to share with their friends. They're not incentivized to share with their friends. They want the prize pool to be really small. So what we're doing is we're coming up with ideas, ways that they can feel like they're winning, even if they share with their friends, which is also why we do the 3-prize triangle. And I'll say it really briefly for Diane and anybody else. 3 prizes. We're going to pick one winner, is going to be random draw. The second winner is you win. I'm sorry, your friend wins, you win too. So whoever refers the winner, the first one, gets the same prize. The third one is the most points, whoever gets the most points, and that incentivizes people that have lots of friends. Not everybody thinks they have lots of friends. Steve Hoagland says multiple prizes, multiple prize types appeals to more potential entrants. That too. So we have 3 prizes, but those prize winners, if they invite more than 10, will be upscaled to a dinner for 2 and a movie. Could throw in a limo. You could do whatever you want to make it really fancy. All right. So theoretically, I could create a Canva GIF if we have time after I do the 30-minute build. I'll show you how to manage that. And what am I talking about? I showed this the other day, but I have to open something. So I've frozen my screen, and because I didn't think about having this up. How do you do the upscale? Kiki asks. Great question, Kiki. Let's see, can I get this to open really fast? Da, 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 da. All right. So first I'll talk about the GIF and then I'll answer Kiki's question. So this is a campaign I'm building for a potential client. You see this over here on the right-hand side, this woman with the finger pointing and it's flipping. This is an animated GIF trying to show the prizes because there's multiple large prizes for this client. It's hard to describe sometimes the client or to the person coming in when you've got 3, 4, 5 different kinds of prizes. And so what I did was I created this as a GIF and I used Canva to make that happen. And what I was thinking about doing was showing you how to do that. If we have time, I can show you how to do that. But that's not going to be part of the 30 minutes because that would be in pre-planning or in planning. All right. So, but that's what I was talking about with this. Then we have to do the social share. So I have to plan for that. I grabbed the images and then I got really brief and I created the title and we're just going to copy that and use that. All right. Kiki's question is, how do you do the upscale? This thing, when I said if the winner invites more than 10 people, there isn't anything inside of UpViral to make that happen, Kiki and everyone. You simply have to put it in the text. I'm going to copy that too. When you pick the winners with the UpViral random draw, Let's say Betty Lou wins the grand prize on a random draw. You go in, you look to see if Betty Lou has more than 10 referrals, 10 or more. However you decide to write the rules. I wrote it more than 10. I would say 10 or more. You give her the bigger prize. There isn't anything automated inside UpViral that would do that. Yes, it's manual. Technically, the 3 prize triangle that I talk about all the time is manual. I've talked about it before. You don't let UpViral do the winner selection automatically. You always do it manually. I've probably done an entire show's worth of conversation about that. Because you need to manage it, right? If you had an email, as an example, if you had an email automatically set to go out to the random draw winner, UpViral doesn't automatically know if that person has 10 or more referrals. So you have to do all this stuff manually, which is okay because that makes it more fun. Jeff says it, and it's not a big deal. I'm only dealing with three winners. Correct. All right, so let's go over to UpViral. Why am I scrolled all the way? Let's go all the way up to the top. This is my UpViral dashboard. And I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to put it up here. Okay, you guys ready? Do you think I can do this in 30 minutes or less? I gotta take a drink. Oh, I'm so nervous. And no, I have not built this campaign before. Anybody know why I asked Diane to pick a random number or a number between 1 and 9? All right, I've started the timer. So what I'm going to do is, Claudia says, shall I start the count? No, I got it. You guys can see this, right? Can you see this number up here at the top? You guys see that? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Richard. All right. What I did, thank you, Glenn, Claudia. What I did was I asked Diane to pick a number between 1 and 7, because one of the new features in UpViral is that they give you entire campaign templates. Now, there are 9 here, so I asked her to give me number 7. She gave me number 7. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. When you're using these, they all have specific settings, specific things that they're doing in the campaign. The reason I asked Diane to give me a random number, and look, I've already lost. Is that really counting down? All right. There it goes, 28 minutes. All right. What I wanted to do is to show you that these are great starters, but you can do anything with them. All you've got to do is go in and tweak them. So what she said was 7. So that's Halloween leads generator. And if you click it, it'll show you more stuff and you can read about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to use this template. It's a Halloween campaign, not a Valentine's Day campaign. And I'm going to hit pause because I've noticed that UpViral is taking like a minute to do this. And I don't know why. It used to be fairly instant. I'm trying to save myself. Kiki, is there a way to have the reward the initial referee after completes an action, not just signups? No, I wish that was true, and I've recommended that multiple times to UpViral. They have not yet implemented it. I don't know if they're going to implement it. And I know that there are other tools that do that, and I wish that UpViral would do that because that would help prevent some fraud going on. Do you see how long this is taking? I don't know. I need to tell Danny about this because this is painful. I did this over the weekend for something else, and it just took forever. I don't have the timer running because I wanted to pause it so that I don't get dinged on this part. I don't know what's going on here. And this is going to mess up the entire thing if it's going to take this long for me to do this live. Hey, Danny, are you watching? Tap, tap, tap. I really wish, Kiki, we could force somebody to not get credit for a referral until that person does an action. And by the way, Kiki, or anybody else watching, it would really help push that topic if you would go into features.upviral.com and request it. I really don't know why this is taking so long. Oops, I typed too many P's. I've killed UpViral. Now UpViral is not even loading. That's bad. This is not what I was hoping to see happen. See, I asked to go to app.upviral.com and it's not even loading. Well, that's what happens when you do demos. There it is. So this is still going, but it looks like it actually built it. Whew. All right, so let's go in and see if we can use it. Oh no, I get to log in again. Kiki says there's nothing to stop them from sharing with friends that don't intend to join your contest. That is absolutely true. And nothing we can do about it. I mentioned in the show earlier that I think that there's about 20% fraud in every campaign. You just got to understand that people are going to cheat. People are going to refer friends, and some of those people are never going to buy. They just wanted to win something for free, but that's okay. That's with any promotion, right? Anytime you do something, people are going to just try to get it for free and they may never buy from you. All right, so let's start the timer again. This navigation was restructured in 2021. The overview shows you how UpViral works. Then the first thing that they talk about is rewards. Now, why isn't the first thing that we're going to build the landing page? Because you're supposed to have done the planning. You're supposed to think about the rewards and the sharing, and the rewards being the incentives that I talked about before, right? These incentives are rewards. And you're supposed to have thought about all this stuff before you get to design. So that's why it's structured this way. Communication is the emails and then the autoresponder. So let's dive in. I don't remember, by the way, what campaign the Halloween one is set. So I'm going to click on edit this grand prize. I never use this. I always set it to manual. But if I'm going to set a date to close the campaign, that's where this is right now. And I'm going to close the campaign on the 7th to give them time to pick this up. So I'm going to set it for 1800, which is my time, Central Time. I'm going to, I'll just put it 1800 and say, okay. Mitch's jewelry package is the title, and I'm going to click update. All I really wanted out of this was the date. You see, I didn't set any numbers or anything. I'm doing it manually. Now the incentives, I created 2 of them. I said I was going to do 2. Now theoretically, I would have a coupon for this one. So I'm going to copy that title and I'm going to put it here because you have to have a title. Instant win, get 10% off in the store. And there would be a URL. I'm just going to put in a URL, and I don't know the points yet, but we're going to make it be, let's see, how many? I said 2 people, let's make it be 100 points. not 1,000, 100. All right, so that's one. The other one is get 20% off. Actually, I blew it, didn't I? This is a coupon, multi-use coupon. I forgot I did it wrong. Let's say the coupon is 20 off. Points needed is going to be 200. See, I do this stuff on the fly, but that's okay, right? Because we're going to come back and we're going to test it. We're going to make sure it all works the way we want it to work. So this one should be coupon code, and I'm going to say 10 off and 100 points, right? All right, so we've done the incentives. Now, I obviously would have to build that coupon code in my store, right? That's not an UpViral thing. I would have to do it in the store. Now, this particular campaign had, and let me know if you have any questions as we go. This particular campaign had 5 points for all the social sharing. I, again, advise you to do all of these when you're starting out. The referral sign up is 50. So when I set the first incentive for 100 points, then once somebody refers 2 people, they will have 100 points. So this was right. And they get 5 points when they join the campaign. I'm going to make it 10. I'm going to make it 20 because I like to. Now, if I wanted people to go visit something in my store, I would create a custom action. You guys familiar with custom actions, right? So what if I say, view the, I forgot what it's called. So I'm going to go into my clipboard manager. And I'm not using this to build it, but I'm going to send them to my store. And I'm going to give them 25 points for doing that. We would give them the incentives to get to the place where I want them to be higher than the social sharing, right? So then I'm going to click on next. I'm going to ask them, did you like it? Not a very hard question. They can put anything they want. I will pick a different icon. Pick my store icon. That blue is fine. Off we go. So there's a custom action. Typically, I would build 4 or 5 of those. Any questions yet? Isn't that 50 points for signing up, fulfilling Kiki's request? No. In which instances we do, Pat, that's going to slow me down if I answer that. Can we get to that at the end? Actually, here, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do pause. In which instances do we need a use URL, and which URL do we use? Are you talking about the custom actions? Is that what you were talking about? Yes. In the custom actions, when you create a custom action, this incentive, I'm sorry, sharing and actions. When you create a custom action, you always have to have a URL. You always have to have a URL. You always have to URL, but you're going to set this URL. You have to give it a name up here, blah, 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 but you have to give it a URL because that's where they go to do the action. And to get the points, when they come back, they answer the question. So in this case, you always have to do a URL. In the case of incentives, when you do add an incentive, if you do a coupon code, there's no URL. In the file to download, you're going to upload the URL and file to UpViral. If you do other, then there is no URL. So if you pick link to URL, then yes, you have to give it a URL. And that would be typically for a download where somebody's going to go grab PDF, an ebook or something. Okay, does that make sense? So it depends upon which one of these you pick. Now, obviously, if you give them a coupon code in the email that goes out, you got to give them the URL to the store. They didn't put the URL here in these incentives. So that would be in the email. And we can see that maybe when we get to the email messages. All right. So in the sharing actions, we've got the points. Now, what was the question? Jeff said, isn't that 50 points for filling up Kiki's request? No. What Kiki was wanting somebody to do was to not be able to earn these 50 points until somebody did either a social share or a custom action to earn additional points. So no. All right, moving on. The social sharing message. I'm going to click the timer back on. Now, UpViral gave us a social sharing message, right? But you got to go build one because this one isn't the one they want. I am using this new feature, design on Canva. Now, this was implemented a long time ago. I don't know if it was actually 2021 or 2020, but this is a fantastic way of doing that. Canva is a great tool. Now, if you click on this, it is going to build it with the right size that you need for UpViral. It is a Facebook ad size, and that Facebook ad size is 1220 by 628, I think, or whatever the right size is. But I'm going to cheat a little bit. I have a whole bunch of templates. And I actually have one template that I was fooling with a few minutes ago. So I have this template that I built for a social sharing thing. And inside my templates, I could use this one, or I did this earlier with a different campaign that I was building with a $50 Amazon gift card, or I could use this one. There's a couple of different templates for doing this that I have. I think this one's too bland. We're doing Valentine's, so why not do this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly add, let's see if I clone this. If I do duplicate, oh, it uses that font. Mitch's Jewel. I never know how to spell jewelry, and I don't like that font. That I don't like that either. Anyway, you would fool with this for a while until you got it right. So I'm just kind of talking about putting some branding in here, right? Mitch's Jewelry giveaway. I'm not going to put all the prizes in here. I could actually put one of the pictures here instead of that gift, right? So let me go over to my Finder, and I could grab this necklace image. I love, if you haven't done Canva, by the way, Canva is freaking amazing. Look at that. Okay, so I tried to show you something and it's broken. These were all downloaded as WebM images. So yeah, I see I broke them. Dang it. Is it though? Is it great? Yes, it is. Dang it. Anyway, you get the idea that I could put some images in there, right? I've spent 10 minutes on the first section, but imagine this was a picture of jewelry. Now, I've built this the way I want it inside of Canva, and I'm going to do publish. I don't have to download it. I'm just going to click publish, and it is preparing that, and it puts it right here inside of UpViral for me. Now, obviously, I have to change these things. Why is my cursor not going? Oh, I got to do this. Silly goose. And my cursor thing went away. Pro. I'm wasting time. All right. For some reason, my cursor thing's not working. All right. Now I gotta replace that, but I copied it, right? I'm going to do this. And then I'm gonna just paste that in down here. So I've got some text. Now, my recommendation is you ignore these warnings because I think they're wrong. But that's Mitch. So you're going to create that kind of stuff, right? So now our social sharing message is done. So I'm going to dive into the campaign pages, and I'm never going to make it in 15 minutes, right? I'm going to do edit template. Jeff says I'm okay with the 30 minutes. All right. I don't have the right background. So with the new editor, I'm going to do a little teaching, okay? With the new editor, there are a whole bunch of features in here. And I'm cheating. I'm stopping the timer because I'm teaching. The template settings are for the overall template. It's currently set to an image. I'm going to do no image, and I'm just going to do a color. And I'm going to pick a color that's more red than pink. So I'm going to come down here. I don't know what a great Valentine's image is, and I'm probably going to click that. And that's not what I want. The page styling is what I want is this background, and it's probably going to be overwhelming, right? That's overwhelming. Is the character limit on Facebook specific or UpViral specific? Kiki's talking to you about the sharing that we were just on. It is Facebook specific, but 20 characters is not the right number. You do have to be careful. I'm cheating. Oh, this is still doing that thing, isn't it? Forget it. App.upviral.com. If I go in to edit this campaign, and I go to share message, what you're looking at is this preview over here, and you can see that this is 2 lines. 2 lines is too much. So what I would do when I was really being picky about it is I would make it be shorter. But you still have this much text to be able to use in the title. She also said, I was asking, so I add hashtags. You can put hashtags down here, but my assumption always is with Facebook that I get 1 line of title and 1 line of description. You can't assume that you're going to get more than 1 line of description. You can't get 2. Depends upon smartphone, tablet, whatever. There's all kinds of things going on there. So you do want to be brief. You can throw hashtags in there. By the way, you can do separate images for Twitter. And you notice that I would get myself in trouble because I didn't look at this. And I now see that this image isn't right. So now I have a problem because Twitter is going to be sharing this. So you do have to check these different social networks. I've seen people add hashtags behind the image. You can put hashtags in the image, but nobody can click on them. I don't know. I mean, you could put it here, but you again have to be careful about how long it is. And I always use the Facebook debugger to check that out. And we talked about that before. So please be careful, by the way, with these template settings. It's important that you maybe potentially change this title up here. I'm going to put Mitch because I would give my branding, because this title is going to appear in your URL. It's obviously not a Halloween. And you have to be careful with the colors. If I go back to their image, notice that they have made their image pretty nondescript. You can't really use an image that has a lot of words in it or anything else, because you can never know. If I grab the edge of this, you'll never know what size the user's screen is. So these images in the background have to be very nondescript. This one's very good because it's just a little bit of web for Halloween in a dark color. My color is not going to work because it's way too bright. That's just overwhelming, right? So I'm going to go back to white. All right, y'all with me there? These colors don't, the global link color is important because that changes this kind of a thing. I've not really found the primary and secondary to be very helpful. But the screen is now drag and drop, right? So you can take text from the left to the right and drop it on the thing. All of the properties of this object that I have selected, and you see that it's got the dashes around it, all of those properties are set over here. There's a little bit of stuff you can still do with this pop-up. Now that question, Pat, is going to have to come later. Pat's question is, how do you have the landing page URL match your branding instead of UpViral? That's called a custom domain, and there's a whole show practically on that. But you can still do some of the text coloring over here, but this is only applying to text, right? There is the overall text color for the box here, but you can still change some of the text. You can do bold stuff, but what you can't do over here is have different font sizes. So you would need to clone this and have a different font size set over here. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every one of the features in here. Okay, Pat, we'll talk about that. If I don't remember, hit me up later. So all of this stuff is really cool new stuff, right? Now, I could go through and show you all of the details here. I could edit this. I could set it up for the Valentine's campaign, which is what I would do. We're already at 9:52. We're 52 minutes in and 17 minutes left on the timer. So I'm not going to make it exactly perfect. Can you add custom fonts? Great question, Kiki. When you do this, the answer is no. But when you drop this down, you will see that there are a whole bunch of fonts in here. And part of the reason that this page takes so long to load is because they're loading these fonts. And I've complained to them about that, so that you can see each one of the fonts. Now, I believe these are Google fonts. I could be wrong. But you have to select from these fonts. You cannot upload or add a font that's not in this list. If you want that, go request it on features.upviral.com. All right. Now, one of the things that I specifically wanted to highlight here is what they call, let me go over here to my workflowy and my features to demo. We went through the navigation, we went through the Canva integration, the drag and drop editor. You can now do the GIF integration, but there's a thing called unified templates. And there's an entire show that Danny came and talked about this. But with the unified templates, what that means in the old days, one of the things that I picked in the previous iteration of this was going through the UpViral stuff. You had to decide whether or not something was going to be a widget or it was going to be an UpViral hosted landing page. These unified unified templates now allow you to implement any campaign in either format, whether it be a widget or an UpViral hosted page or a combination of both. And by widget, I also mean pop-up, widget, pop over, or just the HTML form. And yes, Jeff, I know I'm mixing in this stuff. I get distracted by comments. But the idea here is there's this new feature in this editor. There is a desktop version of this page. There is a mobile version of this page, and there is now a widget version of this page in this single editor for this campaign. Okay. It used to be that you didn't have much control over the mobile version. You now have complete control over the mobile version. And that's where you see this up here at the top that says show objects hidden on the desktop, when there are currently 3 of those. Now, this is one of the struggles and one of the joys of the new UpViral editor. So let me show you something. For example, I'm going to change this image, and I'm going to go grab, if assuming it works, because I cheated on these. Let's see, I got to go to samples, Copilot. All right, yay, it worked. So I've uploaded this image, and you now see there's this hide on desktop. There's also this show objects hidden on desktop. If I click this, you will see that there are potentially some other things, like this title just appeared. If I turn it off, you'll see there's only one title. The second title is something that's on the mobile view. So if I click on mobile view, you won't see the big one. You see a smaller version of it. Now you also see the 2 objects that I just added, these 2 text objects. I could take this one and I could say hide on mobile, so you don't see it here. When I go to the desktop view, you still see it. So one of the things that you have to be careful every time you use somebody else's template is to make sure you go through all 3 of these, at least the first 2, desktop and mobile, because the UpViral team or whoever you got the template from may have a different image hidden on mobile. I mean, I could take this image, I could grab an image and put it here, right? And I could upload, let's say I upload this one. And so now I have 2 images, right? I could hide this one on mobile, and I could only show this one on mobile. You see, it's currently not visible. So I'm going to, I'm sorry, it was visible. But you also see that there are these dog images. So we have to be very careful about all of these things. You see the dog images down here, but you don't see either of the images that I had on the mobile view. So if I do mobile view and you see there's 7, I have to click this in order to see the images I just added. You guys with me? You've got to be very careful of what's visible on both views. This one I can do show on mobile, or I can just leave it hidden. If I click on this, it'll go away. I have found in working with students that this is the most confusing thing, because they're like, wait a minute, what view am I on? What's hidden, what's not? Which button do I have turned on? It can be confusing. And if, just like I did on the social media, if you don't do the social media check, you may have a different image on Twitter than you do on Facebook, and you might have the old image. So just be sure that you go through and check all of those things. Are y'all with me? Just say yes. All right, thank you. So you notice the widget view can be very different than the mobile view. And I'm going to show you where that comes into play. Thank you, Christine, Pat, Glenn. Yes. All right. So let's make the assumption that I have changed this the way I want it to be, because I could spend lots of time on this. I'm going to turn the timer back on, and we're going to go through the rest of it. The editor is where you're going to spend probably the most time, right? The joy of these templates, and now I'm afraid this save is going to take forever. All right. The joy of these templates is it gives you a place to start. You're going to come in and you're going to modify it for your own needs. And you're going to go through each of these steps just like I'm showing you. You're also going to do the same thing with the social sharing page. I'm sorry, not the social sharing page, the sharing page. You got to go through all of this stuff and change the text and change the images. You've got to make sure you check the mobile view. You got to change the font sizes and do whatever you need to do for the social. Now, one of the tips I'm going to give you, two of them actually, incentives are not on this, right? I created an incentive. Do you remember me setting up incentives? I'll go back to, I'm sorry, rewards or incentives. I have two of them. I want to be able to tell people that they could earn 10% off and 20% off. I'm not going to say it on the front page. I'm not going to do all the nits and stuff. Purely the front page is to get them to give up their email address. This page, the sharing page, is to get them to do things for me, right? But on this case, I'm going to go to the desktop view because it's wider. But on the desktop view, the incentives that I created are not showing. So I want to grab those incentives, and unfortunately, it's underneath the support, so it's not clicking properly. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag this wherever I need to. And here comes the incentives. Now, something you could not do before is hide these if you want to. Something you couldn't do before was to put them in a grid. So you can have a grid layout. I'm clicking on this, 2 items per row, so they're now side by side. You can technically hide one of these if you want to. You could pretend to add that incentive later and send out an email. Hey, we've just added a new incentive. Everybody that gets 20 points or more, or 4 referrals, will get 20% off. So that gives you an opportunity to send out an email. You can decide whether or not you want to do that at the beginning. There's all kinds of different philosophies on making that happen. Some people think that maybe they're not going to work so hard if they don't know it's there. You know, there's all kinds of different strategies for going on there. You can also hide the progress bar if you decide to. You can change the heights and the button roundness. There is a request to be able to change this background color. I'm sorry, that's the label color. So this background is just this blue or dark gray. And right now we can't change it unless they've changed it. No, this is not the same one. But there's also a locked version where they haven't earned it, and then there's an unlocked version. So there's lots of different things you can do here with this incentives box. I'm again showing you this because when you're building your campaign, you have to decide whether or not you're going to show these things. And the template that you got from UpViral or me or whomever may or may not have those things turned on. So even though it's a template that you got to streamline the process, you still have lots of decisions to make to decide whether or not you need to show that. I would typically add a text box above this to then describe to them how they earn those, what do they need to do in order to earn these incentives, and what the value of the incentive is to them. Something like an instant 10%, notice my wording there. I made it instant 10% off. They sometimes have to understand it. I got distracted. They have to understand why those incentives are there. And, you know, if it's an ebook, for example, they may not understand the value of the ebook. So sometimes you have to put in some description in order to get them to fully comprehend why they want it. And that means they have to earn more points. Y'all with me there? All right, so I'm just going to do exit. I'm not going to save this because it'll take time. Let's assume we've got our design built, and please don't forget the split test functionality if you're on the business plan or above. The split test is incredibly valuable to be able to figure out the wording on one page versus another, whether or not it's working for you. So the next step is the emails. Now, UpViral, in the templates that we have grabbed, have pre-built templates, pre-built emails. You can also split test these in the business plan and above. I love split testing, those of you who know. You have successfully entered the Hello Wolf sweepstakes. The problem with having templates is that means you have to actually come in and look at them. Just because you grab this doesn't mean that the email is going to apply to you. I have seen campaigns where people did not come in and edit the templates for their own particular use. And please pay attention to this subject. People don't know what your offer is. They may not read this. You want them to read this very first email. It's very important to get them to read this very first email. It's why you got them on board. Make sure you come in and look at all of these emails and edit them as appropriate. Notice UpViral has set this pause notifications after 2 emails. I typically make this be 10. So you got to look at all these things. Why do I do that? This email to me is very critical. It's telling somebody that registered, hey, somebody signed up underneath you. Somebody used your referral link and joined the campaign. Hey, thanks for making that happen. By the way, if you do it again, if you get somebody else to sign up, if you share again, then you're going to earn these points and you're working towards these incentives and blah, 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 blah. You want them to be eager. If you don't spend time working on these emails, and you cannot just assume that the person that gave you the template has built it the way you want, you got to come in here and do this. And the reason I do 10 is I want them banged on the head, reminding them that they are trying to earn these certain incentives. I don't think 2 is enough. It could be enough for some campaigns, but typically I'm doing 10. I want them to be reminded of the campaign. Does that email go out after every referral? Yes. Can you put a number in there? Yes, I changed it. I don't know if you saw it. It came up with 2. That was in UpViral's template that they shared with us. There may be 2, maybe 4, maybe 10. If you set it to 0, it's unlimited. It will go out for every referral from 1 to 10,000. This number is critical to your campaign in my book. If you're using double opt-in, turn that on. I rarely use double opt-in. I also go in and I want you to look at this fraud email. Make sure, notice it says Hello Wolf sweepstake in here. You got to make sure the wording is your wording. Very important to go in and look at the emails that you get from whatever template provider you're using. And don't forget these reward emails. These are the emails that go out when people earn the rewards or incentives on this page. For those of you who know me, I will slap you about the face and head, as I mentioned before, if this is turned on, if I look into your campaign. If you come to me for help and this is turned on, I'm going to slap you, because I don't think the vast majority of you really understand the ramification of sending an email to a grand prize winner. Turn it off. Email your winners separately. And yes, you need to go in, and we talked about before, this particular email that goes out, for example, when they earn the first incentive, it says, awesome news, Betty, you just unlocked this 10% off instant win. To collect it, you got to give them a URL. I'm surprised. I'm pausing because I thought I changed it to a coupon. There should be a coupon in here. But you, again, have to make sure all of this is set up right. The personalize up here, I believe, here's the coupon code. You would give them the URL. So you would go to planetmitch.com/buy whatever, and then here's your coupon code. So you need to make sure that you've got the right codes in here, that you're using the right person, etc. Glenn says, I really like that incentive objective. Well, of course you do, because in order for them to use it, guess what they have to? Buy something. All right. Make sure you come in and you validate all of these emails and turn this one off. Please, please, please turn that one off. Please. Go to your store and buy something. Exactly. That's right, Glenn. You want them to buy something. I actually have had clients, I got 5 minutes. I have had clients that have told me they don't want to give out coupons. I went, why? Oh, well, it devalues my product. Okay, I get that. But here you are trying to incentivize people to come to your store and get something. They have done some work for you. They've shared, they've earned some points. I don't think it's devaluing your products. I think it has encouraged them to buy something from your store. Up to everybody's individual preference. All right, so that's the communication tab. The autoresponder, theoretically, you've gone in and set up your autoresponder. They've given you some new descriptions, which I have not read. This is fairly new stuff, I believe, but you're going to select your autoresponder. I'm using Active Campaign. Christine says the product is very devalued if no one's buying it. That's right. So you're going to go in and you set this up by doing this add autoresponder. I already have my autoresponder set up. I'm using my Active Campaign. I'm going to pick my viral list builders, and then I'm going to enter some tags depending upon what I'm doing, like Valen, VALENTINE contest. So you're going to use some tags. So everybody that registers is going to be tagged. If your autoresponder doesn't do tagging, then you won't see this as an option. If I set, I don't know, AWeber, this is one of my clients. They don't have tagging set up, so there are no tags set up for up here. So that's all dependent on your autoresponder. These fields on the left-hand side are the ones that are coming off the form on your opt-in page. If you don't have something set up, I would highly advise you, or let me go back to my active campaign. I would highly advise you to go, dang it. I accidentally hit the back button. So I didn't save it. I highly advise you to send your personal invite link, which I have a custom field set up over in my active campaign to receive that, because that way in your emails going out from your autoresponder, you can say, hey, by the way, here's your referral link, share that everywhere. Make sure you do that. All right, the advanced settings, you're going to go fill in all these things. There is geo-targeting, which is fairly new. I have mine set to worldwide, but you can set specific regions. If you go in and set North America, then if I click this drop down, you'll see all the different countries that are applicable. If I don't want Bermuda and Canada, Greenland, I can just do the United States. One of the things that you must do, and I'm getting very close to my time limit, is specify where a campaign ends up if this campaign is closed. Please, please, please don't ever leave it on default page. I do not ever want to see this campaign is not currently running. At least send them to your homepage. Pick a URL, do this. It's on the bottom of the advanced settings. Always make sure that's set. And then the last function is to launch the campaign. Are you sure you want to launch it? Well, nobody has to worry about it because nobody's going to see this anywhere until you share this URL. Copy link is what you're going to use to share this particular campaign. Okay, does that make sense? Now, technically, I have cheated and finagled my way into making it within half an hour. Of course, what I am now going to do is I'm going to test the heck out of this campaign. There's a URL right here at the top of the page on every page when you're inside a campaign where you can test it once you've launched it. You see now, here's my hello, write something here, change the color, did those things, put in those images, and I'm looking to see that it looks right on my screen. I'm going to enter my name. I'm going to enter an email address. I'm going to click the go button. I'm going to make sure I see the proper screen. Now, obviously, I didn't change any of these things because we were busy doing other stuff. I did not save it because I didn't want to wait for it, but the incentive should be down here, et cetera, et cetera. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the reports tab and I'm going to look to see what the stats are. There's 2 direct visits, 1 direct lead. I'm going to make sure that my lead came in with the right data that I think is going to be here. And I'm going to go over to active campaign and I'm going to make sure that lead got added to my active campaign. If you don't do those basic testing steps, I'm going to come slap you even harder than if you're sending an email to the winner. I cannot tell you how many times people have come to me and they said, well, I put in the autoresponder, but the leads aren't ending up over there. If you don't come test this, test it multiple times, I'm going to slap you. You've got to test your campaign. Spend more time testing it than I just did. There's an entire show on how to test your campaign. All right. Claudia says, what is it about? What was it about to make sure a campaign, if it ends, it does not land on the wrong page? That's what I was talking about, Claudia, with the advanced settings under setup to send them somewhere to a URL. Apparently I didn't click save, or it didn't save, or I changed it or something. Guess what? You can send them to another campaign if you want to. You can always send them to another campaign and collect leads. You could send them to an opt-in for your newsletter. You can send them to an opt-in for your business, a free lead magnet. You can send them to a webinar. Do not forget that you can use UpViral for all these things, right? If you look at my dashboard, for example, you'll see that I have this email template campaign that I gave out a free thing a couple of weeks ago. I have my newsletters set up in here. I put in star unified in order to remember that these are unified templates. The older ones that I have down here are probably not under the new unified templates. Now let's suppose that I wanted to give you this campaign. I didn't build it properly. It's not really ready to share. I didn't change it the way I would have changed it if I were really doing it because I cheated. What you would do, however, is you would click on this more, the three dots on the more side. And we'd click on the three dots, there it is. And I would do the share function. If I do the share function and I want to include, and I didn't edit the terms and conditions, did I? I failed. And if I wanted to send coupon codes and links and stuff over to you guys, if I were sharing this, then I would turn those two things on, which is new. If you saw the social sharing demo that we did earlier in the year, they've added these two things. What doesn't come over is the people, the visitors, the code that you add to the headers and footers and stuff like that. But I could share this if I wanted to copy this and give it to you guys. I could share this campaign. I was hoping to do that, but I didn't spend enough time on the landing pages, and we're already 20 minutes after the hour, so you can just go do it yourself. Sorry. Now, let me make sure the new publish features. Oh, so I just did the share campaigns. That was this one. The new publish features over on the, let's see, not there. On the publish tab, we have down here, there's two things. The one-click sign up, which is the most amazing thing ever. That's been around since day one for UpViral. But number two is this embed the campaign on your web page. This is why they split and called them the unified templates, because they've implemented this functionality. So if I click on embed, now, so there's an UpViral hosted page. I could send people with this link up here. And I haven't forgotten about the custom domain thing, but I'll show you that in a minute. I could send them this URL and people would opt in. I could click on this. It is a physical hosted page on UpViral. But if I wanted to, and I click on embed campaign, and I want to do the new popover, and the new popover is this little thing that would appear in the lower corner. I could set it in the right-hand side or the left-hand side. I could have it show up after 1 second. And so what happens, you see, is that that widget will pop up in the lower corner. I can up here say left or right, where that will pop up on the page. So this, I could implement this on any of my websites and have people register for the campaign inside my website, or I can send them over to the UpViral page. I now have the ability to do the widget functionality and the hosted UpViral pages in the same campaign. Now, this is a phenomenal thing. You kind of have to wrap your head around it, But let's suppose that I want to run this campaign and I want to have a pop-up on my website, my WordPress website. I just have to come through here and come down to the installation, and I have to copy this code, and I can put this in my WordPress, site or my ClickFunnels site or whatever tool you're using. And I can have a little pop-up that says, hey, we're running a contest. This, my Mitch's jewelry store. So every page in the store would have this little pop-up. It's a phenomenal opportunity, but most people haven't really thought about it yet. They haven't realized that they can do this with the unified templates. Diana wants to know, do you have some training on split testing? I believe we've done a co-pilot show on split testing. For those of you who are new, let me go into UpViral. I assume you have UpViral. Jeff. I love you, Jeff. Great question. Jeff wants to know if we have a pop-up example. I need to have one built, but I don't have one built yet. I don't think. I was testing it, so we'll I do this stuff live, and you get to see all the uglies and all the back end failures. So I don't know what setup I currently have, but I'll show you what I have. Yeah. I'm just gonna go there. We're just gonna see what the setup is. I have a website that hardly anybody goes to called viraltrafficguy.com. It looks like a weightlifting site, but I don't have it turned on apparently. So let's suppose we're going to be brutally ugly here, right? Where is it? I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to go to my WordPress. Janine, great question. I'll get to that in just a second. On my WordPress, I have a page that has the widget on it, but I also have a settings called the insert headers and footers. Why is it making me log in again? And if I put that script in the footer and I do save, and I come back over here to my UpViral, and I go to my viraltrafficguy.com and I refresh, here's my pop-up over here on the left-hand side. You see that, Jeff? I did it in less than a minute. Woohoo! Pretty nice, huh? Now there's settings on how long it'll show, how many times it will show, because obviously if somebody goes to your store and they're paging through, you don't want to see them on every page, right? Can I delete the UpViral logo? Great question, Freddie. I rung the bell today. And I haven't forgotten about the other questions. So if I go, oh, that's my viral, I'm in the wrong spot. So if I go to my UpViral campaign and I go to setup, okay, this is for Freddie or everybody else who's interested. I go to advanced settings and I go to general setup. If you are on the business plan or above, you can turn off show powered by UpViral. If you're on the basic plan, you can't turn it off. So I turned it off. I don't think I need to do save. I think UpViral saved it. But if I come back over here, I'm sorry, if I come back to this page and I hit refresh, and this pops up, you should see that that logo is gone. Great question. I see that on so many campaigns. And back in the day, that used to have my UpViral affiliate ID in it, but it doesn't. Janine's question, since UpViral does not integrate with Instagram, I was wondering if you have some ideas to incorporate your Instagram. Has there been a past training? Claudia, the answer is no, they have not implemented the affiliate link, even though I've asked them a million times. Send it in with features.upviral.com. Claudia's question, that was Janine's question. If you go to the rewards, I'm sorry, to the sharing and actions, how can I implement Instagram? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a custom action, and I'm going to say share this Instagram. I'm sorry, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to click on share a post on Instagram. So they built it, right? They built these words with this builder, and it puts up Instagram.com. And I'm going to put thank you page magic, because that's me. And I'm going to give them 100 points. So what you're doing is sending them to Instagram, Janine, to share a post. You can have them like it. You can do all kinds of stuff in this question, and you can give them instructions on how to do it. You could, you know, blah, 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 instructions down here. So the next step is what's the question? Maybe it's what was your Insta, what do you call it? User ID. They can write any answer, and this is supposed to automatically figure out that's the Instagram color, but I think that's the wrong color. I don't know, but that's the Instagram logo. So now I have a custom action to encourage them to share or to comment or to like or whatever action you want to do on Instagram. I thought Instagram's color was red. There are gobs and gobs of things you can do with Instagram. So because Instagram doesn't allow a URL on a post, right? That's the problem. That's the reason why UpViral cannot create a social share there, but you can create all kinds of custom actions and incentivize people to do that thing. Freddie says, is ClickFunnels the same procedure to add the pop-up? I don't know. I'm not a ClickFunnels guy, so I'm not sure. I think there's a section where you can add it. I don't know that you can add a script to the entire funnel. But in most cases, I know I said ClickFunnels earlier because that was the only page builder I could come up with at the time, but I don't know whether it applies, whether you want that popover or the pop-up on every page of your ClickFunnels funnel. Oh, Jeff, no, it is not WordPress. What do you mean? Diana, oh, let me get to the custom domain question from earlier. And I apologize, I don't remember who it was. So in your settings, your general settings on your dashboard, the really quick thing is you're going to come over to custom domains and you're going to set up a custom domain. We're just going to say we're going to use this one because I have gobs of them. And you're going to point it to a campaign. Canon Rumors campaign, right? You can go in and edit this. You can change it, whatever. Once you build this, you still have to go back to your dashboard. Oh, I was going to show you. Dang it. Hold on. Have to go to your campaign and you have to go to your advanced settings and you still have to pick referral tracking domain. So I have to come in here and I have to go click on this and I have to go to the one that said Canon Rumors, whatever. All right, so I have to pick it. I'm I'm going to make it simple. I'm going to do this one, and I have to do save. And then I have to come to this one, and I have to pick one and do save. And now I'm going to hit refresh, and you're going to see this change from UpViral to that URL. Okay, does it make sense, whoever that was? I don't know why. It's something I have requested. It seems to me that once you create the custom domain and you say use it on this URL, that these two things should be changed for you, but they're not. So you have to come in and manually do them yourselves. That was Pat. Okay, you with me? So you don't just, Pat, so you don't just enter your actual website address, but rather the campaign's URL. I'm not sure I understand. You have to have built, there is a whole show on, I think there's a whole show on custom domains, Pat, but you have to have built a CNAME record in your website host. You have to come into the dashboard settings where I just showed you, and you have to connect those two. And then you have to come here and do this. You have to do all those steps. If you have any questions, if you want me to double check that, next week's show is going to be a show for questions. Mainly, it's going to be for campaign reviews. But if you want to come in and we can check that, Pat, we can check that next week if you would like. By the way, I told you earlier that I didn't have the terms and conditions. This is where I would put that. We did the geo-targeting. We looked at a couple of these things. You probably always want these first two buttons turned on in the general setup. UTM tracking is where the custom tracking is. I highly advise you learn this. There's a whole show on that. And I keep saying that. So what I wanted to do earlier was go to the Learning Center. So if you go to your dashboard, go to the Learning Center, and you will see there somewhere on this page, because they're all, it depends upon what your account owns, but somewhere there's a Copilot show, and you click on Start Watching, and you will see all of the episodes over here on the right-hand side. If you're not familiar with UpViral, I urge you to start with show number 62, 7 ways to use UpViral. It was an awesome show. I highly advise you watch that one if you are brand new to UpViral. I'm gonna take a quick drink. Anybody have any questions? I see your question, Freddie. Claudia had a question I haven't answered. Jeff, Jeff said, no, it's not WordPress. ClickFunnels is different. But does ClickFunnels, I know, has a place where you can put in some JavaScript. So I don't know. I don't know. All right. Claudia's question. Moving over here. What is the best use to share a campaign on Facebook? What would I share there? Share the campaign link? All right. So great question, Claudia. What I urge everybody to always do is to go to your advanced settings, go to the UTM tracking, go to the custom link, and track every place where you share something. So let's suppose you're going to share it on your personal profile. So I might do FB timeline or profile, and I'm going to hit the plus, and I'm going to copy that link, and I'll show you why this is important really fast. I'm going to open an incognito window. And I'm going to move you guys out of the way. And I'm going to paste in that link that I just copied. I'm pasting it in the wrong place. I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to hit go. And that is surprisingly wrong, but it worked because it uses my new URL. But notice it says track equals FB profile at the end. I'm going to come back over to my UpViral campaign, and I'm going to go to reports, and I'm going to open it in a new tab because I want to stay there. But notice, and they have put in, I believe they put in some buffering. So these stats may not always be 100% immediate. But if I go to traffic, we should see, if it loads, there it is, FB profile. So now you see that's visits. If there were a lead, there would be one underneath there. I haven't opted in yet. So you can see every place where you share that link, you can see how many people visited, how many people opted in. Hello? Are you guys paying attention? This is one of the most amazing features, to be able to figure out what traffic is working for you and what's not. So my advice on your question, Claudia, what is the best place to share your campaign? Where your people are. And track them. All right. Glenn says, Mitch, you're sharing some golden nuggets on this show. That's what I do. You know that. And if you came to work with me, you'd get even more. Can we use the same with UTM? Right now, the reports page is not doing, the only thing the reports page is working on is that track equals. You can put UTM codes in, but right now UpViral is not using those on the reports page. Somewhere down the road, I hope that that does track. If you have more than one Facebook page, Jeff wants to know, can you set up more than one? Watch this. I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to go back to my incognito window, and I'm going to type in Mitch Rocks. Right there, track equals Mitch Rocks. You see it? I'm going to hit go. Anybody know what's going to happen? I come back over to the reports, assuming the reports are updating instantly. If I hit refresh and go to traffic, you see it's not updating instantly, but theoretically, you would see a new tracking ID on this reports page, and you would see a new number here. It didn't update. So I think they've changed it to be like every minute or two, which kind of irritates me because it makes it a little hard to do some testing and making sure everything works. Glenn, the answers, a couple of people have asked, how can you work with me? Go to contactmitch.com. Contactmitch.com has all the information on how to get a hold of me. You want to work with me, you want to do Messenger, you want to get on my calendar, you know, send me an email. It's all right there, Contact Mitch. All right, so Copilot shows. So, so let me go back to the reports page, see if it's worked yet. This number's got to be 7. There it is. And down here, notice it says Mitch Rocks. So you do not have to go into the settings page and build these custom links every time. I'm going to hit refresh here. And what you should see, if I go to UTM tracking, what you should see under custom links is now there's 2 of them. So they build them dynamically for you. And if you do track equals and some characters, don't put spaces in there. Don't try to be fancy with exclamations and stuff like that. Track equals and then some characters. UpViral will build the tracking link for you, and they will report on it for you. So you don't have to come pre-build them. So that was for Jeff. The question was, if you have more than one Facebook page, can you set up more than one tracking link? The answer is yes. Pat says you can track any page just by entering the same page's URL. Okay, Pat, I know I've said, I'm scrolling down. Do you get that page? Do you understand what I'm talking about with the tracking? Pat, you don't have to build it in advance. You just take the publish link and you take that link. I can build it for you on the fly. I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to put question mark track equals Pat. And I'm going to hit go. And within a minute or two, that tracking code, wherever I put it, if I put it on Facebook, if I put it on Twitter, if I put it in Reddit, if I put it in one of the contest one of the contest pages where the contest people hang out, you can put it anywhere. Just change the track equals. Remember where that was, obviously, make it something that you will remember so that you can see, understand. If you put it on Freddy's freebies and nobody comes, or you get 1,000 people come to the page and nobody signs up, you know never to paste there again, right? You don't post where your people aren't hanging out. If you want, Pat, if you're not understanding what I'm talking about it being built dynamically, just go build it inside of UpViral. Go to the advanced settings, go to UTM tracking custom link, and put in a different word here. Put in Pat Rocks, whatever you want to put in. Put in Freddy's freebies, wherever you're sharing it. Create that. It will show up down here. You can copy it and you can share it on Freddy's freebies. All right. It is magical. And yes, I toot my own horn because that was my feature request. I wanted that 4 years ago. I begged and begged and begged and begged, and they finally implemented it. Kiki. I'm going to ring the bell for Kiki. This is great to track influencers. Holy cow. Kiki's got it. You're using influencers. Maybe you're paying influencers. Guess what? You give them a custom tracking link. You can see whether or not it was worth your money. Christine had the same idea. Exactly. You can thank me now for this feature. This was implemented 2 years ago, and not enough of you are using it because you don't know. Is there a show on this topic? I don't remember. We've got 90-something shows now, Pat. You'll have to look through the list. If my friend Brenda was here, she would tell you what show it was because she has them all categorized. But she's been having family issues. Not Brenda, Deborah. I could do a whole show on this topic, but it's really simple. Anywhere you share the link, and here I'm going to go to preview. You spying on something that I didn't want you to see, but that's all right because that's the way life works here. Here's the famous diagram. You guys have all seen it. everywhere you put this traffic, direct traffic is you. Direct traffic is everywhere you or your influencers or your Twitter feed, or you share it on Reddit, or you use Freddy's freebies. All of those things are direct traffic. The referred traffic is coming from the social shares that people do inside your campaign. There's a very distinct difference. Okay, you guys got to understand this part, which is why I keep showing you this diagram. If you don't understand this, you are missing out on the game. Direct traffic is where the tracking links come into play. And every place you post that link, you can use a tracking link and find out what your results are on the reports page. We should see down here. Oh, did I not hit go? Let me hit refresh. We should see on the traffic page, there's Pat. There's Freddy's freebies. I typed in both of those. Glenn says, if you don't track it, you can't measure it. Exactly. You guys are getting some of my best stuff here. Diana says, my time was well spent. Just imagine if you were working with me. Plug. Imagine me doing this for your campaign specifically. Okay, I won't say that anymore. Freddie says, which show did you share the email unified campaign? That was very recent. I don't remember which tab. I got too many tabs open. I had one of them. Here we go. The unified template show was with Danny. New features walkthrough. I think this was. I think it's this one. I think it's episode 80. Yeah, it was episode, I think it's that one. Again, and I understand it's kind of hard with these titles to know exactly. So the Kiki says, the best practice is to use a different link for each place you share it. Yes, not just a generic tracking link. Absolutely correct. Claudia says, and I was not sure this was exactly a good question. Yes, tracking links are one of my favorite features. And not enough people know that they're there. It's hidden. It's way buried. If you're not paying attention, you don't know where it is. I've talked about it before, but it is absolutely a very, none of the other tools do it. It's one of my favorite features. If you are looking at your data, and you should be on the reports, you should be looking at your tracking. Now, I would love, I'm pestering Danny, and Danny's kind of like, I got things to work on. I would love for some improvements to happen on this page, because one of the things that drives me crazy is that the conversion rate is over here and it's not right on top of this. It drives me bonkers. I have to do some math in order to figure out what that conversion rate is, but that's something I'm working on with Danny. Kiki says, so why use the UTM tracking right now? The UTM is only working for you inside of Google Analytics. Claudia says, so if I'm being interviewed, I give my host a link with the tracking on it. Yes. Don't just use the UTM. There's a difference. I'll go back over here again. There is UTM. right? So if you do source Facebook, Medium, social, or whatever you do inside your stuff, I cannot type and talk, social, name, I don't know, Mitch Valentine, and I do save, it will give me, please select a source. I thought I did, Facebook, save. So it will give me this link, but you notice that that does not anywhere in it say track equals. So you can use this in Google Analytics if you want. Yes, I don't happen to like Google Analytics. It's too confusing for me. I'm too slow. But if you do the custom link that puts track equals, then that stuff shows up in the reports. This is all based on track equals. So Claudia, you would give your host campaignxyz.com/contest ID or question mark track equals host name. UTM stuff does not matter to these reports. You have to use track equals. So those of you asking for specific shows, number one, there's over 90 of them now. Number two, I do a whole ton of other shows and I can't remember. I mean, I do my mastermind, I do shows on my Facebook timeline, I do all kinds of stuff. So I apologize. I don't remember exactly what shows are here in the Copilot and what shows are in my mastermind or what. I do a lot of stuff. So I'm sorry if I don't remember. And the titles don't always fit. The title doesn't always say, look here for the custom tracking. So I apologize. All right, who has other questions before we wrap this up? And thank you for not flogging me about the 30 minutes exactly. And I get, anyway, you got, I hope it's good enough. I do get distracted. Couple of points, right? Number one, you can share templates. Number two, if you share a template, make sure you go through every little step to make sure that all of the things are customized for what your campaign is. It doesn't always matter of those 9 templates that they have, and I have templates of my own. It doesn't, you still have to go in and customize it for what your usage is. I could hand you, Glenn, this template for my Valentine's thing if I built the pages out fully, but you still got to go in and change every one of those things that we went through. So there still is work involved, but it does make it faster. It does give you a hand holding to go, oh, I should put that in here. I should put this in here. But you also have to do the planning in advance. You can't just take it and run with it. You have to know what you want. Glenn says, yes, please. But my template doesn't say anything about Valentine's Day. Right? Sorry. If I had built it all the way out like I thought I was going to do, it would be something, but it takes too long to go in and make the design pages look exactly like you want. But I hope you got enough of an idea that you could use that. Diana, thank you for being here. I said Diana a couple of times, I think. Diana. When using email as one of your traffic methods, would you use contest giveaway in the subject line? Great question, Glenn. No. All right, number one, I just found out from Christina Etheridge. Christina Etheridge is my email guru. I was watching one of her recent live streams, and she said, first of all, don't use brackets, because that's kind of sort of a flag for spam, which I was not aware of because I do use brackets in my emails. Number 2, contest giveaway is confusing because the definition of both of those words could mean something else to everybody else. You're not supposed to say free. You know, free is like a flag. You can say enter to win. You can say win. You could say win this jewelry. You could say I'm doing a giveaway. That kind of stuff, but make sure your wording is what your people would like to see. There's a whole show on understanding your avatar that we did back at the beginning. Jeff says you can spell it FRE3. I still believe that the algorithms know that, Jeff. I think that worked for a length of time, and then the algorithms went, hey, wait a minute, instead of saying free, they're saying FRE3. Jeff says, I see that a lot. Yes. I mean, technically, the spam filters may even flag enter to win, but it's better than, I think, contest. But you can split test that too in your autoresponder. We're now at 2 hours. If anybody needs to drop off. Oh, crap, I forgot. Carlene asked the question. Oh, it's 3 minutes ago. The question on the Facebook group, are you able to schedule the custom actions? No, but I do know. Let me rephrase that. I have banged upon Danny's head, and Danny heard that. Now, Danny, if you don't know, Danny is Cagliari. I think I'm saying it right. If I say it wrong, I'm sorry, Danny. He is the product manager for UpViral. He's in charge of deciding what features we're working on. I have conversations with him periodically. And one of the things that we talked about is the custom actions. And I think the user interface is very clunky, and I don't think people understand it enough. And during one of the shows that he was a guest where we were talking about some features, that came up multiple times, the ability to schedule a custom action. If you're working on a campaign where you want a week in, you want to have a new custom action appear, or you want it to disappear on a certain day, those kind of things would be freaking awesome. I don't know if it's coming. I can't tell you because Danny hasn't told me. And even if he did tell me, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I'm under NDA for that stuff. Let me take a drink before I get to Glenn's question. Carlene, thank you for being here. Thank you for asking a question on sticking out with me however long you've been here. If you want to vote on that, Claudia says, let's vote on it. If you want, go to features.upviral.com and request it. Features.upviral.com. There, anyway. Glenn's question, what are your thoughts on using video in place of an image on the entrance page? And I forgot to do the GIF thing, right? The new feature is you can upload GIFs now. Forgot that. Lots of new features. In my testing, and I will caveat, Glenn, that you need to do your own testing. In my testing, I have done split tests. In particular, one client, we did split tests where we had an image of the product and we had a video describing the product. The campaign had 4,000 views. The video had 8 views on it. That's my experience. I suggest to people not to put videos on your opt-in page, but the joy is you can split test it yourself and find out what your users want. In this particular campaign, my users didn't care about the video. The video did not appeal to them. They just wanted to register to win the granola bars. They didn't care what ingredients went in or anything else, whatever that video was. They just wanted to register. So the split test showed, I think it was fairly even in terms of the opt-ins, that the video didn't help the opt-ins or hurt the opt-ins, but there were only 8 views in YouTube on that video after weeks. So nobody watched that video. Does it matter? Would it help if that video were specifically about the contest and there were fingers that said, watch this video to learn more about, it just depends. And you need to test that. You need to run multiple campaigns. I will go back if you missed it, Glenn. I don't know if you were on the beginning of the show, but I'm going to share this again for those of you people that came in late. This woman, I don't know, this business, Fire Mountain Gems, notice they have a page that I found through Google with contest winners. And look at this, 2020 Seed Bead Contest winners, 2020 Medals Contest winners, 2019 Crystal Contest winners, 2019 Seed Bead Contest winners, 2019, 2019, 2018, 2018. They have been running contests. Are you people paying attention to this? These people have been, running contests for years. Do contests work? They think so. Fire Mountain Designs beading contest winners. Look at this, 2012, 2011, 2010. I have not scrolled down, 2003. And they post all of their winners. I click on 2015. Look, they've posted the winner's picture. Well, I don't know, maybe it wasn't the winner's picture. Maybe they're cheating and using models. I don't know. They all look pretty good. No, this is not looking like a model. I'm not saying anything about her other than this doesn't look like a professional photo. It looks like a real human. Model, oh, see, this says modeled by Sandra from customer service. Oh, see, I wasn't paying attention. Modeled by Ashley. Okay. See, somebody ought to slap me about this. Okay, so they do identify that it is somebody. I was trying to read this really fast. It says modeled by Brittany, granddaughter of Esther. I don't know who Esther is. Maybe that's the woman who owns Fire Mountain Gems. You get my point. And if I were them, and I don't know if there is a current contest, I have not tried to see, this was just the past winners page. Let me go to their homepage. Blowout sale, January sale, shop, live help. Imagine there be a pop-up right here that says, hey, we're running a contest, enter now, which UpViral could do for them. I'm not seeing a current contest here, but the idea is that they're doing this. And I know it's already after an hour, 2 hours. I can never do anything shortly. But Glenn, this is amazing stuff. And this applies to all of you. This absolutely applies to each and every one of you. That's why I went back to it. If you are not running campaigns, it doesn't have to be monthly or every other week or whatever. If you are not running campaigns on a regular basis to test this stuff out and find out what works for your audience and what doesn't, then in my opinion, you're making a mistake. And you need to be looking at your data. I go back to the Bradley story I've told a million times about the survival niche. They looked at camping chairs, they looked at camping stoves, they looked at tents, they looked at this and that and these kind of survival things, and they eventually found that the $97 halogen flashlight was the best thing they ever gave away, and they're giving away those things all the time. Figure out what your people want from your store and give it away. Email them, sell sometimes, nurture a lot, give them value. Help them understand how to use your products. All right, let's wrap this baby up. Anybody have any real quick questions? Let me know. Glenn said that was amazing. Oh, Kiki said, make a custom action to watch my video. There you go, Kiki. Ring the bell for Kiki. Yes, if you've got a video you want people to watch, give them points for it. Encourage them to watch it by giving them chances to win by watching the video. And yes, I know I made lots of mistakes, by the way, today, because I was going to put some text on the page that showed you about the invite more than 10, and I didn't even finish that. I had some great plans, but thanks for watching. Anybody else? Jeff says, thanks, Mitch. Awesome training. There have been several very nice compliments along the way. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're down to 18 people left. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much for being here. Next week is Q&A time. I'm sorry, next week is campaign reviews time. So if you have a campaign that you want me to review, let me know about it. There is a form that will come to you next Monday that says, hey, if you want your campaign reviewed, submit this form. You can fill that out, or if you want to just send it to me privately, you can use that contactmitch.com to get a hold of me, and we will review it for you next week on the show. Expect that to be a 2-hour show as well. Keith, thank you for your kind words. Glenn, you're welcome. Best show ever. I don't think so. I think I failed on many things. I wish I'd done more of what Jeff, I think, said. Somebody said, quit answering questions. But I hopefully got most of the points across. Kiki says, you're the best. Thank you, Steve Hogland. Thank you, Mitch, everyone. Jeff, you're welcome. You always over-deliver. I appreciate those kind words. And let me know how I can help you. Oh. Freddie, missing the link for the share email unified campaign. I'm not going to share that here. That's a private thing. If you want to contact me, Freddie, go to the contactmitch.com page and I will possibly share it with you. But that's an entire campaign that I think I'm going to be selling. But if you want the email templates, I will get you those. Let me know. Contact me. All right. Thank you all. We will talk to you next week. Diana, come back. Make sure you come back next week. All right. Thank you. Happy Halloween. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye, Freddie. Thank you.